Over to you.
Okay, Shruti, over to you.
A very warm welcome to one and all present here. I hope you all are having a great weekend. This is Shruti Mishra from New Delhi, and I am currently pursuing maths honors from Delhi University. So, before we begin this panel discussion, let me first tell you about BRATS Talk, what exactly it is. So, it's a first initiative taken by Captain of BRATS and Navigator of BRATS, Suresh sir and Urvi ma'am. Most importantly, that's a platform for the students by the students. Here, students from various universities come up and share a single platform and have a panel discussion on a relatable topic. It's indeed a great platform for students like us to share our perspective and try to understand and correlate with others' perspective as well. Without a further delay, I would like to introduce our moderator of today's session, Mr. Shubham. Earlier, he was pursuing his mechanical engineering, but he rather believed in upgrading himself according to the need. So currently, he is pursuing PGPM from ICFAI Business School, Mumbai. Over to you, Shubham.
Thanks a lot, Shruti, for that brief introduction. And I'm happy to introduce our topic of this session today, which is importance of storytelling in our life. And I'm sure just from the topic, we all could realize that it is going to be an interesting one. Now, I would like to introduce our panelists here today. Uh, I would like Prachi to introduce herself first.
Thank you so much, Shubham. So this is Prachi Rathi from ICFAI Business School, Kolkata. Here I'm currently pursuing PGPM in my first year, and I'm also currently working with a part of BRATS as a campus ambassador, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much, everyone.
We welcome you, Prachi.
ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ
Thanks a
ಯಾರಿಗೂ
lot.
ಕೊಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸೈಕಲ್
So yeah, that's a new one. We have got another
ಇಲ್ಲ
storytelling session. Uh, Now I would like our next panelist, uh, Mehal, to introduce herself.
My name is Mehal Kaur and currently I'm pursuing BA LLB honors from Amity University, Kolkata. I'm very glad to be a part of BRATS team. Hope we have a very interactive session ahead and all the very best to all my fellow panelists. Thank you.
We welcome you, Mehal, and we are really looking forward to interacting session. And Mehal, your voice was a bit low, so I would recommend you to keep your voice high because we want this session to be really interactive and interesting. Now, I would like to ask our next panelist, Prabha, to introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Prabha Kapil and I hail from Bhavali Nainital and I'm pursuing my MBA from Tulas Institute Dehradun and I'm also working as a campus ambassador in BRATS. Thanks.
Welcome, Prabha. And thanks a lot for giving a brief introduction because all we want to know is what our panelists are. Now, I would like Kshitija to introduce herself so that we all could get what she is.
Okay, good evening everyone. Myself Kshitija Upadhyay and I'm currently pursuing PGDM from JIMS Kalkaji and I'm also a campus ambassador as well as intern with BRATS. Thank you, glad to be here.
Welcome, Kshitija. And as now all the panelists have introduced themselves, I'm sure we are going to have a blast session in which we are going to discuss what storytelling is. Now, I would just like to give all of you a brief about this session. We are going to have a discussion on the topic importance of storytelling in our lives. And as the name suggests, it is important. And yes, we all have been coming up with stories daily at some point or the other. And yes, it is going to help you in your career as well. So let's start our session today with the first question. We all are storytellers. Come on, don't argue me on that because yes, we all are. But yes, I would like to ask our panelists today here that do we agree that we are all storytellers? Over to you, Prachi.
So thank you so much, Shubham. It's really a very wonderful question. Like as you said that we all are our storytellers in our lives. And yes, we don't have to argue in such topic, like because we definitely don't know that we do all other storytellers. So by the very own nature, human beings are the storytellers, and that's like from the from the earliest days of the prehistory, like sitting by the glow of fire and talking about this, telling stories to make sense for the mysteries of the world, and all the way to the myths, fairy tales, etc. There's a saying by Pat Conway that the most beautiful and the most powerful words in English are tell me a story. Just to add on something into it, like telling a story is at the very heart of the human condition. Indeed, each and every one of us does it all the time. Thank you.
So truly said, Prachi, because we all have been doing it. And yes, from the very beginning, we start to do it. Now, I would like to know what Mehal thinks about it.
Yeah, so what I believe is storytelling is a thing which we know from our very childhood. We are listening from our parents, from our grandpa, from our grandparents. So it is a inbuilt thing which we know, and we don't need to learn anything about it. And every person has a chapter in his or her life, whether it's a good chapter or whether it's a bad chapter. Both consist of stories only, and the good chapter help us to boost ourselves, and rather the bad chapter help us to move ahead with the consequences which we have faced already, and which help us to build our personality. So this consists of stories, and everybody who is watching our show must have a story, and I believe they also have a good chapter and bad chapter in their life. Thank you.
Uh, Nihil has brought a new discussion into the topic. Like, yes, there are bad chapters and good chapters. We all have been realizing it that, yes, to a story, there will always be two chapters. And yes, we would always want the positive chapter to add in our story. Thanks a lot, Mihal. Now, I would like to know what Prabha thinks about it. Over to you, Prabha.
Thank you, Shubham. I totally agree with what Prachi and Mehul said, that we are natural storytellers in our. Yes, I agree. We use storytelling naturally, in one shape or other. As we know, our life consists of listening to stories and reading stories of other people and telling our stories to them. We share our experiences, sometimes gossips, sometimes secrets, and sometimes unpleasant events with people. So, yeah.
uh, Prabha has really connected with us while she was saying that storytelling could include sometimes gossips, experiences, and that's true. Without a good storytelling, how could we even think of that? So, yeah, thanks a lot, Prabha. Now, I would like to know what Kshitija thinks about it. And yes, Kshitija, do tell us, do we agree?
Thank you for the question, Shubham, and I completely agree with all my fellow mates that we all are storytellers. It is something inbuilt in us, something which has always been there. Like every day, we are telling someone something, and we subconsciously or consciously become storytellers, right? Everyone we try to engage with someone, we become storytellers, and it has been always there. Like earlier times, people used to write stories on walls. Then we got to know about mythologies like Ramayana and Mahabharata through stories. And even fact based stories like Alexander and Napoleon were given to us in fact of stories only, right? We were not told facts. And I believe it is a great thing because Steve Jobs once said that the most powerful people on the planet are the storytellers because they have a vision. So I think it is a great thing that we are all storytellers. Thank you.
Uh, Thanks a lot, Kshitija, for connecting with all of us with a lovely lines. Because yes, with a broader vision, a person can be a good storyteller. And yes, we all are familiar with the stories that have been caved on walls of the caves. And yes, we all have been doing it since the age of Mahabharata, Ramayana. And yes, they all have been a good storyteller because we could remember it. So yeah, a good story will always be get remembered. Now, I would like to take our session today a bit technical because yes, we all know what storytelling has been doing, and now I would like to know what storytelling is because everybody here has a different perception of storytelling, because nobody has a perfect definition, because for everybody storytelling is different, it takes different shapes. Yes, it is true. So now I would like to know what Prachi thinks is storytelling for her, and when was the first time she used it.
So, a very technical question, Shubham, like what is storytelling? And yes, obviously, many people would love to hear about it, like what basically storytelling is. So, the word storytelling is all about telling stories. Like it is about using stories to engage your audience or to make something like more clear to them. Like as a story is like it always been a way to communicate. Like as we all know that we are telling up stories and like it's a basic thing, like we have to communicate and all. So before people have learned about how to write and all, they used to tell up the stories to other people such that they can make them understand rather than including the facts and the details. So as stories are enjoyable, they stimulates our imagination. Like it is a way that we express ourselves and like the what we feel of by the actions or something like that. So the first time I actually used started telling stories was during my childhood days. Like yeah, like I would like to share each and everything with my fellow mates or classmates or my family members, and also I wanted to observe like what things are going on between. So and that is when I realized that I actually want to learn this art, and this art is a very good way of communication. Like now when I'm doing my post graduation, I can completely say that it's one of the most essential backbone of business communication. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for bringing that point up, because yes, it's the backbone of business communication. And when Prachi, you started telling us that yes, we have learned storytelling even before we started learning writing, and that's true, because we have come across so many children. Even we were at a time we were a children, right? So, but still we could weave a story so beautifully that parents would totally get lost into it and they would believe whatever we say. So, yeah, a great start to the question. Now, I would like to know what Mehal thinks about it. And yes, Mehal, do share your first experience with us.
Yeah, so the very first experience which I'm very happy to share with you all is when I was a child, whenever my mother used to send me to the market for buying any household stuff, I always used to save some amount of money to buy some chocolates and chips for myself so that I can enjoy them while I'm returning back to home because I love munching. Right. So whenever my mother used to ask me what is the net amount and what is the like, obviously your mom is going to ask you what is the total amount you are going to return her. So I always used to give her the actual money, but from that actual money I always used to deduct 10 rupees or 15 rupees, and that was for my chocolates, as I said. But my mother never questioned me and never said me anything because the way I used to narrate her my story was in such a way that she used to connect with her. And this connectivity thing, which I'm stating here in my story, is the utmost important thing while you are narrating a story to any person. This is the thing which help you to become a good storyteller, and this connectivity thing only comes from your heart when you are stating a true story to any person. It's not about my mother, it's about any person I'm stating a story. So yeah, story help us to improve ourselves, and it's a very vital part of our life. Thank you.
So, for Mehal, we got to know that for her, storytelling is sharing an experience in such a way that the other person gets to connect to us. And yes, she has been doing it all along. Like the example she has shared, that how she could convince her mother that she could actually got the chocolates without saving any money. And wow, I would not suggest everybody to do it, but yeah, she has mastered the art. So yeah, now moving on to our next contestant, Kshitija, I would like to know your views. What is storytelling, and what was your first experience with it?
Thank you, Shubham. First of all, I completely agree with Mehal. When stories come from heart, they always connect. And talking about what is storytelling according to me, it is, as the name suggests, the art of telling stories, the art of trying to put your thoughts in someone else's mind, right? It is something so simple, yet it makes such a huge difference because it has the power of captivating others. Like when you go to watch a movie, suppose James Bond, and you know nothing can like that can ever happen, right? But you still go, and when you come out of there, you are in complete awe. You are you're like, oh my god, I want to be like Bond, and that is not even possible. That is the power of storytelling. And if I talk about my first experience, I think I started when I was really young. But the first story I can remember is of seventh grade, and I was coming back from my friend's place, and I got really late. So I was sure my father is going to scold me. So I weaved a story, and I came home. My father was there, all angry, and I started telling about what happened. Ki there was a lot of traffic, so I got stuck. And then there was this old man, and he was trying to cross the road. So help to karna tha na. So I just went on like that, and I told it with such intricacies that my father was so involved, he forgot to shout at me. And that is the day I realized how important storytelling can be for you. So that is my story.
Wow, at such an early stage, you got to experiment your storytelling skills. And yes, I'm sure the way you have told us that story, we are sure that you could have convinced your father, and that's why he forgot that he had to scold you. But yeah, after watching this session, he's going to scold you again. But still, as Kshitija has told us that yes, storytelling is more about captivating others, is more about putting your thoughts into somebody else's mind. And the magnet, which is storyteller, it works every single time. So yeah, be good at it. Now, I would like to know what Prabha thinks about it. As Kshitija has mentioned, Prachi and Mehal have mentioned their experiences. Over to you, Prabha.
Thank you, Shubham. I totally agree with what Prachi, Mehal, and Kshitija said about storytelling. I just want to add one more point in this. According to me, storytelling is narrating sequence of events of a character or characters in impressive, engaging, and attractive way. So I remember when I was a kid, I used to tell my mother about my whole day in school and what I did, how many friends I made, and what games we played, and which teacher came, what she taught, everything. So I had started my storytelling when I was a kid, and everyone does storytelling in a very early age. So yeah, thank you.
Prabha, thanks a lot for sharing that example, because I know many of us who are watching this session are going to realize that yes, we too have done it. I mean, we too have done it at some point, that coming back from school and telling each and everything that has happened in our school, just to make your parents feel that we have done something really great. And that's how storytelling has been working. And Prabha, I feel that once upon a time I told my mother that I have a mild heart attack in my kidney, but she didn't believe me. And I might be the poorest storytelling kid at that time, but yeah, thanks to you and congratulations to everybody who could weave a beautiful story even when they were so little and so cute. Now, moving on to our next question, and yes, believe me, everyone who is watching it, we are going to get a bit technical here. Yes, this session is not just about storytelling and laughing and smiling, but yes, it is going to be technical as well. Now, as we all have heard all the stories that our panelists have told us, there are some unknown advantages that we have got to know. And yes, while listening to every panelist here, you got to realize that. But now I would like to know that what were those points where our panelists realized that they have got benefit from storytelling. Now I would like Mehal to share her experience first.
Yeah, thank you, Shubham, for letting me speak. What I believe is a story is a universal truth about ourselves, about the world. So, when we are stating a story to a person, there are many unknown advantages which we do not notice. The first and utmost thing which I would like to highlight here is the listening skills. Once you are a good listener, you automatically become a good observer as well as a good storyteller. The second thing which I would like to highlight here is it promotes a feeling of well-beingness and the relaxation. Once there is a connection which you build between the person you are stating a story, it automatically you become relaxed. Your anxiety level comes down. And the third thing is it helps you to encourage. It helps you to increase your creativity and your imagination level into the next way. So once you start to create a story, once you start to narrate a story to the person, you automatically your imagination level and creativity level develops. So these are the unknown advantages which people were not aware of it, but I think now people, those who are streaming live on YouTube, are aware of. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mehal, for sharing those unknown advantages that we all have got. But yeah, we realize very few of it. And as you have correctly said, that a good listener and a good observer could be a good storyteller. It's just about improvement. And yes, we get to be creative with storytelling. And thanks a lot, Mehal, for bringing those points up. Now, I would like Prachi to share her own unknown advantages and when was it beneficial for her.
So thank you so much, Shubham, for it's really a very technical question. Like you're asking about the unknown advantages. So as my panelist Mihal said about like some unknown advantages of storytelling, just to add on something out, the practice of storytelling, it literally encourages people around here, like it encourages participation, like the imagination power it raises up, and talking about like it increases our attention span that is much required in our particular life. So like taking up an example of Shakira, if I can say that her teacher, she has told that she sounded like a goat, and that was like, if she had heard about it, if she had listened what her teacher, her mentor has told about her, so she won't be at that position where she is right now. Or talking about Ronaldo, if I said his coach has literally told him that the money won't buy, that football won't buy him the money, but rather than right now we all know where his position it is. So yes, talking about their story, it has really motivated me, and yeah, there are some advantages, like if I'm talking about my story, like when I changed my stream from CBSE to ISC in class 11th, like the audience here might be like, they might be connected with it, like they will connect with me, like the thing that I'm going to say, like when I changes my stream, they were like the classmates around me or the people around me, they used to like say me about like how will you manage, because the difference level and the difficulty level of English is much more higher than the CBSE level, if I can say that. So yes, and I haven't listened to them, like it really, it was like demotivating kind of questions they were raising up, but then I haven't listened to them, and yes, I moved on. And later on, when I got my results, I was topping in each and every exams in class 11th and 12th in the commerce stream, and yes, that literally boosted up my confidence. And so yeah, there are definitely advantages of storytelling. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prachi. Because that's been said true that sometimes when we hear stories from other people, we get to motivate ourselves, we get to encourage ourselves. And that's how Storytell has been working, even when other people keep demotivating you or discouraging you. And yes, Prachi, we are sure that you are going to excel in your further studies as well. Now, I would like Prabha to tell us what are the unknown advantages she thinks of.
Thank you, Shubham. I totally agree with what my friends said about unknown advantages of storytelling. Yeah, there are surely so many unknown advantages of storytelling. And this I realized when I was in school, and one day my friend was looking a bit tense because next week exams are going to happen. So, what I did, I started telling her a funny story, and she started laughing at the middle of this story. So I realized that storytelling helps us emotionally. It makes us feel good, and it also helps us relieve stress. So yeah, I got this. Thank you.
Uh, yes, Prabha. I mean, storytelling could really work in making your bonds with your friends stronger. I mean, if Prabha could relate the story and make her friend happy, emotionally feel better, then what could be the greater way to do that? And yes, storytelling could help her. And I'm sure, Prabha, with the storytelling, your bonds with your friends and family would be nurturing forever. Now, I would like to know our next panelist's view on the same question.
Thank you, Shubham. First of all, I got to hear a lot of interesting stories, and like to address the second part of the question first. But let me tell you, I am not the storyteller in this case, but I definitely benefited from this one. So what happened was, I was in eighth or ninth, and there was this salesperson who came to sell encyclopedias, and I definitely did not wanted them because there was no use. When was I going to read them, right? And my father knew it, but the man came in and he was like, "Let me talk to you for a minute." And he started asking me questions. Ki, Beta, are you studying this in your class? And I was like, yeah, it is in my course. And then he talked to my father about how if I had that encyclopedia, I would be the most intelligent kid in the class. I would top the class and everything. And he portrayed a story for my father of how I will become a topper if I had that encyclopedia with me. And my father ended up changing his decision and buying that book. Okay, so it benefited him monetarily. It benefited me in the way that I realized that storytelling can change decisions, right? And there are a lot of other advantages starting from childhood. If a parent has to put any concept in a child's brain, say of honesty or truthfulness, they just don't tell you be honest, be truthful. They'll tell you stories about it, right? You might never have heard of a parent uh, saying bedtime facts. You always hear bedtime stories because stories are 22 times more memorable than facts. And since I am a science background student, let me tell you why. Since Because stories release hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, and that increases focus, and that makes our stories more engaging. Thank you.
Uh, Kshitija, you have brought a new example, and I am sure when you mentioned the encyclopedia guy, we all could think about all the instances that must have taken in our lives. And yes, I think that yes, it has definitely benefited you, and yes, the encyclopedia guy as well. But yes, we got to know that how storytelling could convince the other people, even if it's just about selling encyclopedia. And yes, I'm sure the person who could sell you the encyclopedia without your interest, I'm sure he must be excelling somewhere because of storytelling. And yes, with all that answers, I'm sure the listeners who are here in this session, they must be smiling thinking about all of the instances that have happened with them. So yeah, now moving on to our next question. We all have realized that what storytelling is. We all have agreed that yes, we all are storytellers. But I just want to know why there is such a need to learn it. Because if it is so much needful, then why didn't we think about learning it earlier? Because yes, that could have been a subject, but still no. Why? Because I have a simple answer. Because we can't put storytelling as a subject. We can use it in every subject, and that's how beautiful and strong storytelling is. So I would like to question my panelists that why do they think that there is a need to learn storytelling? And yes, if it is, then how is it going to help them in corporate world? My question is first would be answered by Prachi.
Thank you so much, Shubham. So, as you said, that we definitely need to learn the storytelling. So, yes, according to me, if I say that we definitely need to learn storytelling as this makes our learning more effective. So, talking about it, it helps us process and remember information. Like it is important and needed in our basic life and in the business as well as the corporate life as well, as it connects and it conveys the purpose of a person, like what a person is going to convey to the business person. Or and it has been said that a business with a purpose are noticed and win the loyalty of the consumer. So talking about it, it definitely helps us to nurture that talent of us in the corporate life. If storytelling is done right at the right time, it will literally increase the employer performance, if I say, or if I say the employees that are being in the corporate life. So storytelling will definitely help me in the corporate world, as a good story maker can literally can make us think, and it can make us feel that it, if we speak in a very proper way, then the listener, he will definitely get connected to us. So the strong stories that tap into the person's mind with the people's emotion, if I say, so it will genuinely connects with them, and it will genuinely help them believe in what a business and a corporate life and what it stands for. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prachi, for telling me that. I wish I had known that earlier, that storytelling at right time, at right moment is actually important. Because, I feel sad sometimes that I might have used storytelling at the wrong place. But yeah, I would keep that in mind. And yes, many of the listeners will keep that in mind, that yes, storytelling should be done at the right point. So yeah, that comes with an experience. So yeah, keep going on, keep telling stories. But yeah, keep making improvements to it. Now, I would like to know what Kshitija thinks about it.
Thank you, Shubham. First of all, this is an amazing question, and I completely agree with Prachi about how it can improve employee performance. Because many other times, when you are in a senior position, part of your job is to motivate people, and you can only motivate people when you are able to connect to their hearts. And for that, you need the art of storytelling. And about how it will help me in my corporate career, I want to pursue marketing as my future career. And marketing is no longer about making stuff, it is about making stories. And storytelling is already the future by many big companies. They already incorporated, right? And I might have the best product in the market, but people won't buy it because if I fail to have a connection with consumers' hearts, and that is where I need my storytelling abilities. I would also like to quote one example. It happened about 8 9 years ago. A man named Rob Walker, you can Google him. He bought 200 objects from eBay, and the total cost of those 200 objects might have been $129. And then he contacted some writers and he asked them to write stories about those objects. And with anticipation, he put all those 100 objects, 200 objects back on eBay. And when, what do you think how much he made of that money? $129 bought product were now sold for $8,000. That is the power of storytelling. That is what storytelling can do. And that is when I realized how it is going to help me in my corporate life, because your audience may forget what you say, but they will never forget the story behind your product or how it made them feel, because nothing sticks to your brain like a story. Stories can just express most complicated ideas most digestibly. So yeah.
That's been said by Kshitija, who could weave a good story, including all the good examples. And yes, now we have got to know that how powerful it could be at different times, even if it is a marketing feat, or even if it just about selling it. And yes, don't forget to connect to the customers, because that's important. If you can't connect to customers, you won't be able to sell your product for much longer. So now moving on to our next panelist, Mehal, why do you think there's such a need to learn storytelling, and how is going to help you in your corporate world?
So what I believe is storytelling is an inborn thing within us, within every person, as I said before. And the need which we need, and the need why we need it in corporate world is it helps us to connect with the customer with whom we are going to deal with. I agree with my both of the panelists. They said that it is a very important need when you are engaged in a corporate world to sell your product. Here, I would like to throw a light on two advertisements which you have already seen. One is a Dove advertisement, and the another is the Imperial Blue advertisement. In the Dove advertisement, you have been observed that this state they have a statement that you use this product for 7 days, and if you really like this product, and they also challenge you to be a brand ambassador once you are dealing with that product. And the another one is the Imperial Blue one. I hope every man who is watching this show can relate to that story. So in that you can see the connection between the man and the man which they show you can really it's a really impressive view which they show you. And this is the way this might be this brand strategy to show their sorry, to show their product, but this is the best way to connect with the audience. It is the best way to sell your product, and these stories really help to connect with the audience, to connect with the customer to whom you are going to sell your products to. Thank you.
Mehal, you have really brought a new dimension to our discussion because you didn't just include normal people, you included a brand and how they use storytelling for their corporate world. And yes, with that, I would really say that I have believed in learning the storytelling skill, and many of our viewers must have decided by now. Now, I would like Prabha to speak on the same question. I would say that she might have a different perception about it.
Thank you, Shubham. First of all, I totally agree that what Mehal, Prachi, and Kshitija said, they have given us so many facts. Why should we learn storytelling? So I want to add on one more thing. As so many powerful companies and successful companies like Micromax, Motorola, NASA, Disney, and World Bank use storytelling as a key leadership tool. This is because storytelling is useful in so many ways. For example, inspiring the organization, creating vision, defining values or cultures, teaching important lessons, or explaining who you are and what you believe. So I think I should learn storytelling, and others should also learn storytelling to enhance their leadership skills. And as everyone knows, that leadership skill is the most demanded skill in corporate. So yeah, thank you.
That's true, Prabha. That leadership skill is the most demanded. And yes, if you want to be a good leader, you should know how to connect yourself, your thoughts, your strategies with your team members. And yes, a good leader would always have good stories to connect with their team. And yes, thanks a lot, Prabha, for bringing that beautiful unknown advantage and the need to learn the storytelling. Now, I would like to add a few more questions because as we all have discussed till now, the need of storytelling. Uh, all of the successful people have been telling good stories, and they have always said that storytelling is the future. And yes, storytelling is the future because each and every brand who wants to make a space in the consumer's mind, they want to write a good story and become a good storyteller. So, with that question, if somebody has that passion of storytelling, would it be a great help in career? I would like to know what our panelists think on it. With Prabha, I would like to initiate the answer.
Thank you, Shubham, for giving this question to me. I was really looking forward to answer this question. Yes, I agree that storytelling passion can help you in career in many ways because storytelling is in growing demand nowadays. Okay, and it helps to make rapport with the audience. It and it also increases engagement. So if anyone likes storytelling, they want to love telling stories, so they can make career in different fields like marketing, content writing, public speaking, etc. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prabha, for for diversifying storytelling in different domains and not just limiting it to public speaking or marketing. You have included all the different domains. Thanks a lot for doing that. Now, I would like Prachi to speak on that and just let us know how this session could be a great help in career.
So thank you so much, Shubham. The question itself, it says that storytelling is future by biggies. So as Prabha said, just to adding on to it, yes, definitely storytelling as a passion can be a great help, like a great help in career. Like a compelling story, if I say that it's a powerful branding tool, like talking about it, like many companies, it uses the branding tool such that to build a connection with the employers, if I say, or with the employees. So talking about it, a good story can definitely, it can accomplish the same thing, like the same thing for your career as well. So it has built a long lasting relationships, talking about like with the peers or the employers or the any other investments or investors or the bosses as well in the company. So talking about some famous storytellers like Steve Jobs, talking about Maya Angelou or Walt Disney as well. So they are the storytellers and they had literally made their passion into a career. So there's a lesson by Steve Jobs that says that create an experience like it worth telling you if you want your story to be spread. Thank you.
By just bringing about Walt Disney and Steve Jobs into the discussion, you have made an impact that yes, storytelling as a passion could be a great help in career. And yes, we all have been witnessing it because Walt Disney, they have made a whole huge world just out of stories. So thanks a lot, Prachi, for that. And now I would like to know what Mehal thinks about
Yeah, thank you, Shubham. So, what I believe is to become a storyteller, you don't have to be in a career, you don't have to pursue career with literature. You can be in any career and you can be a great storyteller. As I being a lawyer, I can be a good storyteller. Being a good engineer, you can be a good storyteller. As a lawyer, you need to narrate each and every incident which happened with the client, or else it will be a very vague scenario while narrating the story, right? So you have to be a good storyteller at that point while you are pursuing law as a career. And if you are being a sorry, if you are a good engineer, you have to narrate the entire project to the person, or else it will be a way again, as I said. And being a businessman, it is the utmost important thing, because if you are not a good storyteller, I think you can't sell your product to the customer, because that connectivity issue is the utmost important thing which you need to build between yourself and the customer to whom you are selling your product to. And the third one, which I strongly believe is the best storyteller from my point of view, is my mom, is the mother, because she is the one who deals with every profession, whether it's been a lawyer, whether it's been a businessman. She is the one who can narrate the best story ever, and she is the only one who can feel the pain behind the story which we are saying, and the happiness behind the story which we are narrating to her. So I, as what I believe is, being a housewife also, you can be a good storyteller. You don't have to pursue story or literature as a career. You can be in any domain and you can be a good storyteller. Thank you.
Mehal, you have always been a good new dimension bringing panelist here. And yes, with that, you have brought mother as a good storyteller. And yes, we all know that our mothers also work in a career. And yes, they have always been a good storyteller. We all agree to that. Even our parents are good storyteller because as one of our panelists, Kshitija, has mentioned that our parents don't tell us bedtime facts, they tell us bedtime stories. So, yeah, with that, I would like to know what Kshitija thinks about the same point.
Thank you, Shubham. First of all, I loved Mehal's answer and how storytelling is not limited to any career, and I could relate to it because I have been a part-time tutor. I tutor maths, and let me tell you, maths has amazing stories. Like, where else are you going to find a man named Ram or Sham who's going to buy 20,000 watermelons or 20,000 apples? So it has been a pleasure teaching maths with stories. And then coming back to the part where is it good for my passion or I said, storytelling is much needed these days, right? So because in a sea of sameness, only our stories differentiate us. If I join corporate world, which I will soon, I will have to make PPTs, and my PPTs will be boring like everyone else's. Nobody gives nice PPTs with facts and charts and tables, right? One way to make my PPTs interesting is by including a story with them, by incorporating one story about my product that I'm trying to tell. Or let me tell you, maybe I will have to convince someone who's far more senior than me, and he must have a lot of experience. So convincing him just by facts might not work with me. So what I would need is I would need a powerful way, and that would be uniting my idea with the emotion, and only stories can do that, because stories give you stories are so interesting that listeners attention is all on you. So that is how I can differentiate myself in my corporate life, through storytelling. And you already know I have a passion for it. I can go on speaking.
Yes, certainly you are going to go on because yes, we do have a long session. But yes, Kshitija, you have mentioned a really good point here that without just a fact and figures, we cannot we might not connect to the audience because yes, if you have to connect with audience, you have to weave a good story and yes, bring it all the facts that you can and yes, make your audience feel connected. So yeah, with that, Shatija, and yes, when you told us about the maths, and yes, many of the listeners could connect to that because yes, we won't find any other subject where we would be buying thousands of watermelons. We don't. So yeah, with that, I would like to come to our next question because this is the question we all have been aiming for because it has been said that in order to turn your ideas into business, you need to know storytelling. Because why? Because someday, after having ideas and putting it on the paper, you have to pitch it. You have to convince the other people to fund your ideas. And yes, that could be a great help if you have storytelling as a skill. So now I would like to know what are panelists think if storytelling can be a great help in an interview or while doing a business pitch, and how is it going to do that? I would like Prachi to share her thoughts on the same. Over to
Thank
you, Prachi.
you so much, Shubham. Thank you so much. So it's a very good question, like such a beautiful question, like you are asking me at this particular time. So yes, everyone loves a good story. Who doesn't? Like anyone here? Like no one. Like everyone loves a good story. So and that's not just my opinion. Like researchers have also shown it up, like that our brains are the hardware that is been connected, and that is been like to enjoy and to remember the stories talking about it. So yes, the point of story is basically that to explain the logic behind it, and that the data that the arrangements that is in a way that resonance emotionally attachments like with your audience as well. Like it's talking about that talking about interview or talking about a business pitch or something as that. The person who is being in front of you, if you speak a story, if you narrate a story to them, like they will literally emotionally connect with us. So a story puts the storyteller and the listener together. Talking about in short, if I will say that we all tell, if we tell the right story at the right time, the interviewer will just feel good about it. Like he will be like, regardless how many interviews he has already been taken up. And talking about a business pitch, as you asked us, so if I am there for, if I'm planning for a startup and I had to present my model to the investors or to anyone else like there, so if I say them, if I just only give up the presentation slides, and if I just only say them that yeah, see, here are the numbers and here are the, like the how much investments do I need for my startup and all, so they won't just only say, they will just say, yeah, okay, we do have a report, so we will definitely see the facts and the figures that you have been shown in the report. But at that particular time, if I just connect them emotionally with a particular story, that why am I looking up for a startup, like why am I planning to do a startup, if I say them beautifully, if I narrate them beautifully in a story, then they will literally connect with me, they will literally be engrossed into the story which I am telling to them, and which they will literally connect with us that at that particular time. So the great challenge of selling a is making an emotionally connection with the buyer. Thank you so much.
So truly said, Prachi, that, but yeah, that's true. Not just by emotions, we have to be good at storytelling by bringing some reality into it. Because, sometimes it might go sideways. But yeah, Prachi, we would keep your points in mind. And now I would like Mihal to speak on the same topic.
Thank you, Shubham. I was looking forward for this question only. So, how storytelling help us during interview? I strongly believe that it really help us, because when we are going for any interview, then if we suppose we have a 7 interviews sitting in front of us, if we can relate to any one of them, then there is a chance of getting selected, because there is a connection which you build between the interviewee and yourself. So this connection is the utmost thing, and everybody goes with the piles of sheets, piles of certificates while they are going for an interview. So what makes you unique there? Nothing. But the story which you narrate to that interview can make you unique. Can there can be a percentage where you can get selected. So yeah, storytelling is an important tool, and it really helps while you are interviewing or you are going for an interview. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mehal, for telling us all that. Yes, we all know this, but still there could be some addition to it. And yes, Mehal has rightly said that sometimes storytelling could make the interview feel that it's the right candidate. So yeah, thanks a lot, Mehal, for telling us that. Now I would like Prabha to share her views on it.
Thank you, Shubham. I First of all, I want to say that Mehal and Prachi had given us so many good points about why storytelling is good for interview as well as for business pitch, and I want to add on some more points in this. Yes, see, storytelling is a great marketing technique, and it influences people positively. Okay, it if we incorporate storytelling in business pitch, then it creates a connection with the audience, which creates a positive impact about the company or the organization. And secondly, it also creates emotional connections, so that there is a more probability of getting positive results of that pitch. So yes, we can use storytelling in both interviews and business speech, so for getting positive results. Thank you.
Uh, Thanks a lot, Prabha, for bringing us the positive aspect of it. Because yes, while we are in an interview or doing business pitch, we all look forward to the positive response. We all do. And if storytelling could do that, then I think you are going to hit the jackpot. Because yes, sometimes you do hit jackpot with all these storytelling skills because you have been practicing it. So, with Prabha's point, now I would like our next panelist, Kshitija, to share how she thinks that storytelling can help her in interview, or if is it a business pitch.
Wow. So I think everything I could have said has already been said. But still, kudos to you for this question because you brought another dimension. Storytelling is not anymore limited to once upon a time or ek baar ki baat hai. It has moved on to all the aspects of our life and career, right? And according to me, the key to a good interview is a good story. Because let's be honest, you might not be the first person who's going to the interview, and you might not be the person with the best skills or qualifications. There might have been other people who came before you and they might have had the same skills, same qualifications, and my interview might be very tired. And if I just go there and I tell him that I am hardworking, I am a team worker, and I have analytical thinking skills, he might not be interested and he might forget it. Who's Kshitija? I don't know, right? But if at that point, if I can somehow relate my points, my skills with a story, maybe I tell him like, last time in a college event there was a last minute trouble and I managed to save everything quickly with my quick thinking skills. And then I tell him that I think I'm a critical thinker. He might remember because I was able to make a connection and give him an example through my stories. So that way it might help me. Secondly, I feel I've already said that marketing is about selling stories, and in an interview we are trying to market ourselves, our abilities, our skills. And I think interview plus stories makes the best combo, and 100% achieving selection target will be achieved through storytelling. Thank you.
Wow, true story. I would really like to say that because yes, many of the people who got selected in their interviews must have narrated their skills very nicely, because you can't just simply state all your skills and all your creativity. You can't just state or form a statement. You have to narrate it properly so that the interviewer gets connected to it. And yes, with all the answers that our panelists have put here, we are sure that once we are out in an interview, we are going to remember all the things here that have been discussed, and how storytelling could be a great part in interview, or even if you are doing a business pitch. Uh, with that, all the questions, I would like to share with all the panelists that the experiences that you have shared till now, audiences must have been smiling all throughout the session, because they all could connect to whatever examples you have given. And just as I would quote our Captain Bratz here, he has also said that sometimes an untold story can come as a beauty of while you are telling a story. Because yes, sometimes what could be more beautiful? Untold stories. So yeah, and yes, when your life is going to be a book, don't forget to write good chapters and good stories in your life. So, with all being said, and knowing all the experiences, examples, technical realities of storytelling, I open this session for question and answers. And yes, don't forget that stories stick longer than the facts into your brain. Our panelists have mentioned that. So, yeah, over to you, Priyanshi.
Thank you so much, Shubham. So do we have any questions from anyone? Okay, so thank you very much, guys. This was indeed a very wonderful section, and we were actually able to connect with everything that is. At the end, I would like everyone, can you please turn on your cameras, as here we have a tradition of clicking a pic before winding up the session.
Wow,
Divya,
everyone's
Nancy,
face is
Apurva.
just light up because of the stories we have our panelists have told. And I'm so glad to see all the faces smiling. And thanks a lot. Keep it up, that smile.
Guys, I do have one question for you all.
Yeah, we
May
welcome
I?
that question. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, first of all, it was a very nice session. As you said, Shubham, earlier, that we could relate to the topic that you were, like the things you were sharing, the experience you all shared. We could, relate with it. One thing I would like to ask you is that how essential you think is important, how essential is storytelling in any person's life?
Yeah.
We did speak about the importance. We did speak, yeah, I mean, you all did speak about how it should have been done. But why do you think it is so essential?
Wow. I would like to extend this question to our panelists. And yes, if they could relate it to any real life examples, do relate it and do answer.
Hi, I think I would like to speak up on this. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
Kshitija.
Kshitija, you
Yes,
are.
Kshitija, yes.
Yeah. So I think storytelling is extremely important when you're trying to make connections with people. Why do you think storytelling starts so early in your life? Why do your parents start telling you stories? Because it makes a connection. Why do you tell your friends everything that happens in your life? Because it makes a connection. And connection builds a bond, and the bond is of trust. When you're trying to sell something, you tell a story because it creates a bond, so the buyer or and the seller have a connection, and the buyer trusts the seller right now, and he will buy. As it is, I think it's a very old Indian proverb which says that tell me a fact, I will learn. Tell me a truth, I will believe. But if you tell me a story, I will carry it in my heart forever. And that is why it starts from the beginning of our life and it goes till the end of our life.
Wow, Kshitija, that has been a lovely answer. And yes, we have one more answer from Mehal. Yeah, Mehal, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you, Shumana, for asking such a beautiful question. So, what I believe is storytelling is very essential. As I stated before, it creates a negative chapter and a positive chapter, and both this chapter help you to boost yourself only. The negative chapter help you to improve yourself where you are weakened, and the positive chapter help you to boost yourself where you have been already been boosting yourself. So this both this negative and the positive chapter have a great combo by stating a story to anybody, and these chapters only help you to create your life story, and these storytelling help you will automatically help you to crack any interview you want to go. You can narrate these stories to the interview, and I strongly believe that one if there are 7 interviewer, one of them can easily relate to you.
Um, I really think what Mehal has said might have satisfied Shuna's question. But Shuna, your question was so essential for all of the panelists to answer that, yeah, we have one more panelist with her answer ready. So, yeah, Prachi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shubham. And thank you so much, Shimona, for asking such a beautiful question like, how is it essential in our daily life? So, yes, it can be said that storytelling is definitely essential. Like, it connects people to people over emotionally. Like, emotional connection is definitely required for the two people to connect all together. So yes, rather it be anywhere, like not talking about the only the interviewer as the Mehul said, or the business speech or anything like business corporation life and all. It's just basically the two-person connecting it up all together. Thank you.
And now we have one more panelist. And Prabha, how could we forget your stories? You have told such beautiful stories in the session. So, yeah, Shimona, be ready for one more answer.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabha.
I want to add that uh, storytelling, uh, like, storytelling helps you to get in that place where you never have been. For example, someone is narrating a story in a very impressive way that you try to imagine that thing. That is the best thing in storytelling. From my side, I think that. So, and if anyone face any consequences in her life, any unpleasant event in his life, he can share then that unpleasant event and can save other person in that. Can save another person. For example, I have gone for hunting and I have been bitten. So I can share that event, and the other person will think about this once before going for hunting. So yeah, thank you.
Wow, very beautifully answered, guys. Thank you so much. I'll surely keep these points in my mind. Thank you so much.
That was a good one. I would like to add some point out here. If you all recollected,
Yes, sir.
Valmiki wrote Mahabharata while Ganeshji was actually telling the story. It was a competition between both of them, and conditionally, if you are telling the story, I will not stop, and if you stop, I will stop writing. So that was a condition, but storytelling was actually given us, that kind of a great inspiration to learn things now. Okay. And other side, the negative impact, what Mehal was telling me, if you all know Adolf Hitler, who always followed make a lie, make it big, and make it big, and make it bigger, and keep saying it, it'll become truth. So that's a negative impact, of course. So there are two sides of storytelling, but making your careers, what I suggest you is take positive side and strongly believe in whatever you are doing, and always believe in what you are practicing, and practice what you believe. So these two things will drive your story so easily. Sometimes you don't need to say also, people will actually perceive with your whatever your action, you know every storytelling cannot be told also. It actually can show in your actions. That's what also comes in a factor. So of course, with this topic, tomorrow if you go to an interview, that is also going to help you out. There are several topics will help you out. That is what I'm saying. You opening a lot of gates to some more discussions. But this is what is my take about negative and positive side of storytelling. So always be positive and influence positive and be positive. I really love the kind of examples what Kshitija gave. I was listening to them all the way driving, but I was really impressed. Prachi, lot many stories you gave. Of course, Prabha, beautifully, and Shubham, you narrated the stories very well. I always believed you are a great storyteller. It was a fantastic listening to you guys. Thank you so much. And Mehal, good to see you back again. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot, sir,
Thank you
for
so
sharing
much,
those
sir. Thank you so
stories with
much.
us. Because yes, at some point we might not have known all the stories, but yeah, from you we got to know that. Thanks a lot, sir.
As
Always
it's a,
welcome.
as it's the best, like it's the favorite topic of yours, sir. So thank you so much for giving us the C topic. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. See you
Thank you
soon.
so
Bye
much.
bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.